Hey, Mel here with the Screencasting Wizard, helping you digitize your knowledge to get it online and web ready. So we had a great question, or I came across as a great question in one of the forums on LinkedIn. Someone was asking, has anyone used a digital camera as a webcam for Camtasia? We will be recording presentations in some of our meetings where a regular webcam just will not suffice, and I absolutely agree. One of the reasons I use an external camcorder is because of the fact, an HD camcorder is because of the fact that I just don't like the way handycams webcams basically come out. So please let me know your suggestions for turning a digital camera into a webcam that Camtasia will recognize. Thanks a bunch. And I think she's absolutely right. So it's a great question. And the quick answer is yes. Both Camtasia Studio and Camtasia for Macintosh will do this. But what I want to show you, though, is from the School of Hard Knocks, a couple of the things that you need to pay attention to. Because what you have to keep in mind is there are different sources. The video is one source. It's coming from your external camera, okay? And also the screencast that's being recorded, that's another channel. It's another source. All right, and then the other thing is the audio, and could be different sources of audio. There's audio that's coming straight from the camcorder, or it might actually be the case that most folks will want to use a high-end microphone or something that's connected directly into the computer. So now that's actually a separate media source that is separate from the screencast and is also separate from the video camcorder, okay? All of these things have to be synced up, and it just really depends on how fast your processor is of your computer, how quick the connection, the pipes are, the cables that come from your camcorder into your computer, or from the microphone into your computer, and so on, all right? All of that stuff plays into just what's the arrival time at the computer, and are they all arriving at the same time such that they'll all be in sync? And I'll tell you, chances are they probably won't be. All right, so here's what you need to do at the very beginning. So in order to prepare for that eventuality, just make sure that you sync up your video camera with the audio source, and then you also need to do something that you can sync up your audio source with the screencast. And so what I like to do is at the very beginning, I use a clapper, something like this. Okay, you've seen this in movies. It isn't just for show. They use it for syncing things up. So what you can do is, ooh, ouch. Okay, so what you can do is sync up the video, this video, with the audio, because I'm going to be simulating a different audio source, okay? We want to use a clapper. So I'm going to go ahead and use Camtasia Macintosh for this. So we'll go ahead and start this up, and this will work the same way in Camtasia Studio. Basically, get a little dialogue. Here's the region. This is green, you know that I define the region that I'm going to be recording, and I'm just going to say I'm going to record my whole Thunderbolt display here, okay? The other thing is, and this is going to be your camera source, and this can be defined as either a web camera or one of the displays on my, on one of the monitors that I have. I have two monitors here, but this is my Vixia HV40, which is my webcam, external webcam. So let's define that as a source, and then we'll turn it on by making it green, all right? So now my little mug should show up here somewhere. Oh wait, I think I just turned it off. There. Now, okay, so now I've turned it on. Now notice, all right, I'm turning my head back and forth, but we're not in sync right now, all right? So, so that's something to keep in mind. I'm going to now also turn on what my audio source is going to be, and this can also be defined to be different things. And I've got audio and video channels going in all over the place. So I'm going to simulate an external microphone that isn't the one coming from the video source, and it isn't one coming directly from the system source, which is being recorded through the screencast. I'm going to record one that's coming in from built-in microphone. And that would sufficiently suffice something, maybe I plug it into to the computer or something like that. All right, so now we've got that's green, that's recording, that's going to record. And I'll leave system audio off for right now just because I'm just doing a proof of concept here. So now we'll do a recording, and then we'll do the little sound spikes and so on. We're counting down. 3, 2, 1. Okay, so now we're doing the recording here. So now what I want to do is, very beginning, I'm going to do this little sound spike. Okay, so that is basically a sound spike that gets recorded on the camera, and also gets recorded on the built-in microphone, and also gets recorded on any other sound sources that you're using. Okay, now it doesn't have to be, if you don't have one of those guys, then use something else. Use a little hand clap, or two boards together, or you can even use, here's a glass case. You can even use a glass case. Okay, just basically the idea is something that you can hear that'll show up as an audio sound spike on the waveform, but at the same time something you can visually see, that you can see it's clear where it's actually snapping shut. Okay, All right, so there's that. So that syncs up the video with the audio. Now the other thing that could potentially be out of sync is a screencast recording that's being recorded off of the computer and the audio. Okay, so what we want to do, what I typically like to do there is, just so I can sync all that stuff up, I'll do 3 snaps, or I'll just say click, click, click. At the very same time I'm doing left clicks on the monitor. So I'm recording those clicks as I go. All right, so we'll go click, click, click. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is stop everything. Oh, before I do that, let's just talk about this. So, sorry, this isn't, I just had this up. But basically what I want to do is show you the time delay that's going on here. So I'm going to click and drag, and I'm simulating here that I'm talking about something that's going on my screen. Click and drag, and I'm going to bring up another window here, and let's say we're going to bring up Google. All right. So bring up google.com. And so now, just like you would in a screencast, you might be talking about something that's going on your screen. So in this particular case, I'm talking about maybe bringing up Google and doing a search for LinkedIn. All right, because that's where the conversation started. Okie doke. Okay, so now I'm going to click through on LinkedIn. So that simulates a synchronization kind of a thing that we would hope happens when we're doing a screencast. All right, now let's stop everything. I'll close this puppy out, and I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording on Camtasia. Okay, so now look at what's going on here. This is the recording that we just did, okay, with me like in the little picture-in-picture that's going on here, and all of the stuff that was going on the screen towards the end there where we had different things going on. Now look what's going on here at the end. Take a listen. Before I do that, let's just talk about this. So, sorry, this isn't, I just had this up. But basically what I want to do is show you the time delay that's going on here. So I'm going to click and drag, and I'm simulating here that I'm talking about something that's going on my screen. Click and drag, and I'm going to bring up another window here, and let's say we're going to bring up basically we're doing the little like those old martial arts movies where the guys talk and then the voice just isn't going with the mouth. Going on your screen. So in this particular case, it's not in sync. So and that happens because of the fact that you have video coming in, you have audio coming from another source, and then the screencast is itself another media source. We got to sync them all up. And chances are, unless you got a really powerful monitor and big pipes coming into your big powerful computer, I should say, and big pipes coming into your computer from all those different sources, they're probably not going to be synced up. But you can sync it up if you just prepared at the beginning with the little sound spike. That's where we did the little clap. Look what's going on here. You'll see, you're going to hear the clap, and that's represented by this. Let's blow this up just a little bit here. See this little spike right there? That's represented by when the audio of when that clapper came down, but you're going to notice that the video is not in sync. Check it out. Sound spike. Okay, so that is basically, see that? So you heard the spike before the clapper actually visually came down. So what we need to do is actually now separate the audio from the video, and you can do this in Camtasia Studio as well. So I right click and then just separate video from audio. Okay, now this is the video piece. Okay, this is the video track, and you can notice that because I've got this highlighted, and then we got the little handles around the video. And then this is the audio that goes along with that. So what we want to do now is take a little, scooch this to the right a little bit until you visually see where that clapper is coming down. There it is right there. So now I'm going to select that video track, and I'm going to add a little marker right to that media. All right, there it is. So I'm adding a little marker to that. So that way what we're going to do is we know where that is. I'm going to then line up that little, I'm going to go to the audio track here, and I'm going to line up that spike with where that little clapper is. All right, now we've lined those two guys up. Now let's take a listen. Spike. Okay, right. So that is basically a sound spike that gets recorded on the camera and also gets recorded on the built-in microphone. Okay, so now we're synced up between the video and the audio. Now the thing is though, is that might not be synced up. We've got a third track here, which is the screencast. See the handles around the screencast? This is the actual screen recording of what's going on. All right, that's this track right down here. Thing is, that might not be synced up, and we can take a look at that by just using some of the built-in feature sets that are already inside Camtasia. And you can do the same thing in Camtasia Studio. Use the cursor effects, highlight the left click, because remember when we did that left clicking thing? Click this, and we're going to drag it over to that lower track. So that way, what I can do now is I can see where those little clicks are. So see this right down here in Camtasia for Macintosh, these little round dots represent where those clicks are. And so I'm going to click the left click rings, and let's just define, I'm going to turn off this other this pre-effect thing that kind of confuses things a little bit. But now let's take a look at this. You'll see, what you're going to see is the video and the audio of the video, okay, of the live action headshot guy is in sync, but it's not going to be in sync with the screencast. Check it out.
Clicks as I go, all right? So we'll go click.
Oh, wait, let's back up a little bit. Okay, here we go.
Monitor. So I'm recording those clicks as I go, all right? So we'll go click, click, click.
Okay, hold on. Let's move me over just a little bit. So that way you can see where those clicks are happening. Okay, here, let's try it again.
At the very same time, I'm doing left clicks on the monitor. So I'm recording those clicks as I go, all right? So we'll go click, 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 okay?
Okay, so it's a subtle difference, but I was saying click before I actually did the click, okay? I mean, in terms of the way it ended up rendering. But when I actually recorded in real life, okay, during the actual recording, I was clicking at the same time I said click. But you can see now the way it got captured is the clicks, the actual clicks themselves are a little bit time delayed from when I'm saying click in the video. So what you need to do here is a similar kind of a thing. We're going to put a little, take the little, what does he call this thing? The pipper, the head, oh, I don't know what the hell you call this thing. I forget what it's called off the top of my head. The little tracker head or whatever. So we got that. I'm going to line that up so it goes right over one of these click marks right down here. So I know that is an actual click. Select that track, and then we're going to add a little marker right to that media track right there. So now we know that where that marker is sitting right underneath an actual click, a recorded click. Okay. Now all we need to do is just line that up to where I say click, and you can almost see it right here in the audio track. You can see where I say click. Let's check it out here. Watch as this thing moves over to the right and where it's hitting these little sound spikes here for the clicks.
And so we'll go click, click, click.
Okay. See that? All right, so we know that this is a quote-unquote click. This right here is a quote-unquote click, and this little waveform right here is a quote-unquote click. All right, and you can already see that that click is supposed to belong to this little first click over here. This second click right there is supposed to belong to that second click right there. And then this third quote-unquote click right here is supposed to belong to that third click, and they're not in sync. So all you need to do is, because now we have this little marker on there, just click that puppy over, and then just let's line it up with the click that it belongs to. So that's the click that it belongs with, and then we know that there's a marker right there, and we're just going to drag that marker over to the right so that it aligns with that little audio click. So now when we play this, the video and the audio that goes with the video and the screencast should now all be in sync, and you should be good to go. All right, now let's take a listen.
Clicks as I go, all right? So we'll go click, 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 okay? Now what I'm going to do is stop everything. Oh, before I do that, let's just talk about this. So, sorry, this isn't, I just had this up. But basically what I want to do is show you the time delay that's going on here. So
now there shouldn't be a time delay at this point, because now we have synced everything
I'm talking about something that's going on my screen, click and drag, and I'm going to bring up another window here, and let's say we're going to bring up Google. All right.
Now it makes sense. Okay, whereas before,
and so now, just like you would in a screencast, you might be talking about something that's going on your screen. So in this
okay, so now I just stopped the video. So now basically we've got everything in sync. Now it does work. Whereas before, when we just, right after recording, and then we opened up Camtasia, what we saw there was all three media sources were not in sync. All right, so it's a little bit technical on this end, but those are some of the things that you probably run into when you're doing, when you're trying to record off of an external webcam feeding into your computer. So just keep those things in mind, and the best thing to do is you want to test this out ahead of time so you know where you need to do your little, your little audio sound spikes or whatever, and also your little click clicks. Is that a term? A click click? On your screencast, so that way you can sync up the screencast with the audio. All right, hope that helps. If you have any questions, feel free to email me. This is Mel with Screencasting Wizard. I'll talk to you next time. Take care.